Hi, my name is Amanda Rocha. I am an estate planning and probate attorney in California, and today I'm going to talk to you about your rights as a beneficiary of a trust. Before I get into that, I want to give you my contact information so that you can reach out to me, ask questions about this or anything else estate planning or probate related. You can find me through my website, www.amandarocalaw.com. You can comment down below if this platform allows you to do that, or you can find me through social media at Amanda Rocha Law. The reason we are discussing this today is because I recently had a conversation with a fellow attorney who does not practice estate planning, who was asking me on behalf of their client what their client's rights were as a beneficiary of someone else's trust. And it struck me that this isn't something that most people who create trusts even understand, let alone other attorneys who do not practice in this area, or people who are beneficiaries of a trust who don't have one themselves. So I want to educate the masses on this very important information. First and foremost, there are two different kinds of trusts. There are revocable trusts, which mean that the person or persons who've created it, the grantor or grantors is what they are called, they've created a living trust. So during their lifetime, they have the ability to amend it as many times as they want, as long as they have the capacity to do so. It is not irrevocable until they pass away. And if it's a joint trust, it would be both of them would pass away. Otherwise, you can create irrevocable trusts during your lifetime, which can be changed, but it is not easy to do, and in some cases, not advisable. So those are the two kinds of trusts. Beneficiaries have rights only when their rights become vested, which means when the trust has become irrevocable and no changes are going to be made anymore to it. So for a revocable living trust, the person who created it would have had to pass away in order for your rights to be vested. And even then, your rights may not be vested as a beneficiary because you may have to reach a certain age to obtain your inheritance, or you might have to complete certain things in order to obtain parts of it. And also, there can be things set up in the trust that are not outright gifts to you. So if the successor trustee, the person who becomes trustee after the original grantor passes away, that we're still talking about revocable trusts here, excuse me. If the successor trustee has discretion as to whether or not they want to provide income or provide gifts to the beneficiaries, then their rights are not ever vested because they have discretion forever, or until their discretion ends. It depends on the terms of the trust. So with an irrevocable trust, it's a little bit different as far as when your rights vest, depending on the exact trust that they created. However, it's kind of general for everyone. Once your rights have vested, then you can get a copy of the trust from the person who has a copy. You can, depending on what the trust says, change the trustee. So most of the time there will be a majority rules kind of thing, where if the majority of beneficiaries think that the trustee is doing a poor or inaccurate job of being a trustee, they have the opportunity to change who the trustee is. Every trust has different terms on this, and there is not a standard term. However, I mostly see trusts that say a majority of the beneficiaries have to vote and then come together and go to court in order to change this. So that's one of your rights. Another right is to get annual or quarterly or semi-annual, depending on the trust terms, to get noticed of the actual accounting of the trust. So if there's a home, let's say the trust only contained a house and no cash on top of that, then your accounting is basically going to be the same thing every year, as long as the house is not passed along to someone else. If the trustee has it, they will give an accounting when they have to the beneficiaries saying, this is what we have and these are the changes. monetarily, it's going to change a little bit depending on if there was any discretion or if any gifts were given. And so the contents of the trust will be put into an accounting and given to the trustee or to the beneficiaries by the trustee in increments that are laid out in the trust. Like I said, quarterly, semi-annually, annually. Typically, those are the terms. Other rights, there aren't very many. That's basically it. Sometimes a trust will give you specific rights in it. That's going to be up to the trust maker themselves. And those rights I can't even imagine at the moment that would be broad enough for me to tell you about. So basically those are your rights. Your right to receive the property that's owed to you when it's owed to you, to see a copy of the trust when your rights are vested, and to get an accounting, and also to change the trustee if you think that needs to happen and the trust allows for it. If you have questions about your particular rights for your situation, please contact me. I would love to help you. You can find me through my website, www.amandarocalaw.com. You can comment down below if this platform allows you to do so, or you can find me on social media at Amanda Rocha Law. Thank you.